in high definition.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
It's a Dodge versus Chevrolet battle on the front row here at Riverside Speedway. J.R. Fitzpatrick was a winner at Mosport earlier this year. He'd like another victory, this one coming on an oval track. And how about the late season resurgence of G. Mopar and Ron Beauchamp Jr., a front row starting spot as we're set to go 300 laps.
Scott Steckley has proven that he's not just sitting idle and waiting for the championship to fall into his lap. He's fighting to the finish, pushing his opponents to the limit and beyond. The 2008 championship is only 2 races away. The series roars into Riverside, where it's said to be the biggest, baddest, loudest, and fastest racing you'll ever see on a third mile. Tonight, points leader Scott Steckley won't be idle. No, tonight, he lies in wait. Welcome to the 12th round of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Sirius Satellite Radio from Riverside International Speedway. This is the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300 on TSN. Welcome to beautiful Nova Scotia. I'm Dave Bradley, along with Billy Rose Jr. and Todd Lewis is trackside. Billy, this has got to be the best racing facility in the country.
Well, from the first time I laid eyes on this place, I wanted to race here. It's a scaled-down version of Bristol, Tennessee, and who wouldn't want to race on that racetrack?
And the Chisholm family has done wonders here. They really do have a jewel. As we take a look at the Casserole points page, Scott Steckley has a commanding 123-point lead over Don Thompson, with just 2 races to go.
And just to make sure we didn't forget that he's been the dominant player all week, he won last week in Barrie.
And Andrew Ranger, DJ Kennington in the hunt as well. The field was set through time trials earlier on today, and it was the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick who claimed top spot with a time of 14.953 seconds.
And that's right, JR. You can be a little cocky because you are a good qualifier, and he does know how to get around this fast 1/3 mile.
Huge crowd here tonight in Antigonish. Some news that came through the NASCAR wire today. The announcement by Canadian Tire that their driver of 12 years will retire after this season.
Well, Peter Gibbons has been a wheelman here in this series, and CASCAR before that, 27 victories, 2 championships. They'll certainly miss him behind the wheel of that race car.
And carrying one of our onboard cameras, you saw from the windshield of Todd Nickel here at the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300. So as the Dodge Caliber SRT4 pace car rolls on, we'll take a look at the Duplicolor starting grid. On pole is J.R. Fitzpatrick, Ron Beauchamp Jr. outside of the front row. There's Don Johnson Jr. and Mark Dilley in row number 2. And a look back to row number 3 has Peter Gibbons in his second to last race in the 1. And Jeff Lapsevich on the outside of row 3. DJ Kennington in the 17, and Donald Chisholm drives the 98. Kerry Mix in the 02, Brad Graham in the 19, that's row number 5. Then we look back at row number 6, Anthony Simone in the 95. Your points leader, Scott Steckley, has his work cut out for him here this evening. Derek Lynch drives the 77. There's Andrew Ranger in the 27. Row number 8 has John Gaunt in the 12, and Doug Brown in the number 10. Row number 9, Dave Whitlock in the number 39. You remember last week he was upside down, and Rookie of the Year contender, the 21 of Jason White. Jason Hathaway drives the 3-car. Peter Shepard is back in the 7. Here once again in Antigonish. Brian Cathcart in the 71. Ken Noon drives the 18. That's row number 11. And rounding in the field in row number 12 all by himself is Todd Nickel.
And he hauled all the way from Alberta to be here tonight. Let's take a look at the Allied Steel Billings race analysis. It's 300 laps tonight, 100 miles in this fast 1/3 mile bull ring. The straightaways are banked 6 degrees in the front and 5 degrees out the back. There'll be action all over this little speed plant.
And it's just a gorgeous facility. It was built back in 1969, totally rebuilt in 2005. Not only is it a racer's delight, but a fan favorite too. With more on tonight's race, here's Todd.
Guys, let's tell you about a couple of fresh faces in the field tonight. First is Donald Chisholm, who's got a nice new McCall car, Pete Gibbons horsepower under the hood, and a top 10 qualifying spot. He'll be fun to watch. A little further back is Todd Nickel, another from the West, joining Jason White. Todd Nickel will also be with us at the final event of the season in Kawartha. 2 more drivers to watch tonight.
Good look at some of the onboard views that we'll have for you as we get set to run 300 laps here at Riverside International Raceway.
There's the leaders going around there. J.R. Fitzpatrick at the pole. Good to see Ronnie Beauchamp Jr. in that 60 Mopar. Got that car hauling the mail really well. Starting up front, look for a good night out of that car.
The Caliber SRT4 pulls down. There's Chad Poitier with the green flag in hand. He's an Atlantic Dodge dealer. He waves, and we're underway here in Antigonish.
Up through the gears into turn 1. See those guys burning the tires as they're coming up through the gear. Everybody wants to lead that first lap.
Billy, how long does it take to get some momentum here, or is it just immediate you get going?
Well, you got to get in a rhythm probably take 3-4 laps, get the air pressure build up in the tires, because them crew chiefs, they'll trick you. They'll start them nice and low so that the car gets better as the run goes on. So it'll take 5 or 6 laps and then start to see the rhythm happen.
8th spot up for grabs, the 98 of Donald Chisholm, the 02 of Kerry Mix battling in the mid-pack as the cars just start sorting out, getting single file here in the early going on the Atlantic Dodge Steelers 300.
Well, Donald Chisholm, he may have home track advantage, but this is a tough series just to jump in 1 or 2 races.
And the 02 of Kerry Mix did have some motor issues prior to qualifying and weren't quite sure if they had solved the issue, but it appears as though Kerry Mix has found his stride. Also finding his stride, the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. He took a look underneath the 60, and here it comes again.
Oh, you hear that thing right up on the rev limiter. Donnie's got that thing cranking. He's got it turning really well in the middle. See how he's able to get under Beauchamp, turn in the middle of the corner. But what happens there, though, is it puts a lot of stress on that right front tire. Donnie can't run that groove all night because he'll wear the right front right off it. The preferred groove is right there. Ron Beauchamp Jr. See him carry the momentum off the corner? Right dead in the middle of the racetrack. A little bit high groove, good exit off the corner. Ronnie's got it down pat.
I was going to say, is it good to set up your car to try and get those left wheels down in the yellow line?
Well, most on a non-bank track, yeah, you got to get that car right down the bottom. But a racetrack like this that has 2 distinct grooves, the quick way around is the upper lane.
Scott Steckley in the 19 of Brad Graham, a battle for 10th spot here in the early going in the Atlantic Dodge Steelers 300, and some contact in the front as Don Thompson Jr. knows he has to go and get to the front. He's got to lead as many laps as he can.
Well, you seen what happens on a bank racetrack. Donnie drove it down into the bottom, and he went in as far as Junior did on the top. But see, pushed up, little touch, no harm, no foul, just great racing. As you see, the outside lane's the preferred lane. Donnie has to settle back in.
That momentum is huge up on the outside of the Mopar Dodge. Ron Beauchamp Jr. just used it, powered down the straightaway. It's like a rock on a string, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. You got to keep the engine wound up. Plus, he's not putting near the strain on his right side tires that the guy down in the bottom lane is. As we see DJ Kennington, he's putting the heat on the 25.
That's for 5th spot as Kennington will go through. Lapsevich will drop in behind, and now Don Thompson, a little rub on the 60 car down the back straightaway as Thompson moves into the 2nd position, still chasing his teammate though. The 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick has now opened up about a 10-car length lead.
Well, Donnie's definitely quicker than the 60 car, but he has his car set up on the bottom and the 60 set up on the middle. Oh, trouble down the front stretch. Kerry Mix. Looks like motor trouble with all that smoke.
The Beyond Digital Imaging 02 of Kerry Mix as the caution flies, fluid down on the raceway, and you can hear cars squealing up in corner 1 and 2. There is the caution flying on the field for the first time here in the Atlantic Dodge Steelers 300. There you can see the trail of fluid behind the 02 as Kerry Mix pulls it down the pit lane. Look at the track cleaned up, and we'll bring it back. And he finished. The Atlantic Dodge Steelers 300 from Riverside Speedway is brought to you by Castrol Syntec. Unlock the power. By Mopar. Authentic performance. And by Duplicolor, the premium brand leader in automotive paints, primers, and coatings. J.R. Fitzpatrick leads his teammate Don Thompson Jr. to the wave of the green flag here in Riverside for the first restart of the night here on lap 27.
Well, JR laid back a little bit on Donnie, plus he's got Donnie up in all that oil drive, but it looks like, here, we talked about it, momentum off of turn 2, Don Thompson to the lead.
You can see that speedy dry still hanging in the air as a big cloud of dust as they come off of quarter number 4 side by side. A couple of Mopars. It's the 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. and the 9 of Mark Dilly. Dilly gets broken.
Well, we talked about how much it looked good on the 60 car to run well. Look at that number 1 down the bottom. Peter Gibbon announces retirement, and look at the life come out of the man.
He is hungry for a win here in Nova Scotia. Peter Gibbons yet to taste victory in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Still looking for his first.
Man, the sound of those motors going by just makes chills go up your spine.
Mark Dilly, who won here last year using that highline momentum. We've talked about it all night so far. And Dilly's able to get around the 60 of Beauchamp.
Well, he used that Dodge horsepower and the momentum as we talked about. And also, you know he's really strong here, and he had a grin from the very first lap he ever turned here.
On board now with DJ Kennington
and his neck. So it'll be tough. 300 laps here tonight.
Yeah, by the end of this, you must be absolutely worn out as a driver. Are you trying to save yourself as much as you're saving the car this early in the race?
As a driver, you can sit there and the crew chief will say, save your equipment. Has saved nothing. They're racing right from lap 1, baby.
Proof of that, the Mopar Avenger, the 60 Ron Beauchamp Jr. taking a look underneath the 9 of Dilly. There is the 4 of Don Thompson Jr., who is your leader. Don't forget to vote for your favorite driver as we have a spin up between 3 and 4. It's the 3 of Jason Hathaway. And you can see the 4 of Don Thompson Jr., a pretty evasive action. And don't forget to go to NASCAR.ca to vote for your favorite driver.
Jason Hathaway spun around down the apex of turn 3 and 4, and he's gone a lap down.
And he was the N16 spot. Todd Nickel in for some adjustments. While we have this break, let's go to tonight's Wheel It Insider.
Safety, of course, is a focus at every NASCAR event. One of the key areas on the race car that NASCAR looks at is at the back in the fuel cell. Have a look underneath to see where the protection starts. Underneath, this fuel cell is covered by steel tubing. It helps protect against an impact from another car or the wall. The fuel cell itself is contained inside a bladder. It absorbs an impact from another car or the wall. Have a look inside underneath this deck lid. Inside the fuel cell, we had an incident with Dave Whitlock's car at the last race. It turned upside down. There is a metal check ball valve inside the fuel cell. It locks into place if the car becomes inverted, keeps the fuel from going outside the fuel intake valve. At that incident with Dave Whitlock, the seat belt and seat performed perfectly, as did the fuel safety system.
Well, safety's always first inside a race car, and you see Dave Whitlock waving there. He was a little stiff and sore, but he's a big hombre, and he's here racing again tonight.
And believe it or not, that car is here once again this weekend, so that's a tribute to the safety measures instilled by NASCAR. As green flag drops, and it's J.R. Fitzpatrick in the hop on the outside in the 84.
Once again, it sounds like a broken record, but I said right from the get-go that the outside's the fast way around. And all night long, the man that leads this race is going to have to be really on top of his game to keep the lead on a restart.
There's Peter Gibbons in the Canadian Tire, number 1. The Chevy Monte Carlo looking on the inside now, the number 9 of Mark Dilley. And there's your points leader, the tow truck in a box 22 of Scott Steckley, slowly, methodically working his way up through the field.
Wow, again, what a great camera angle right there. You really get the sense of the speed and the RPM and everything that happens around these stock cars down the straightaway.
Battle for 13th. You can see Chisholm up on the outside as Whitlock will take that position away in the Dickies Dodge. John Gahn digging underneath the 98 on the inside, and there's a battle for 4th between the 1 of Gibbons and the 9 of Dilly, and Todd standing by with Peter's wife and car owner Denise Gibbons.
Denise, you announced earlier this week Peter stepping out of the race car. Exciting yet scary times for you and your family.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I guess we won't have noisy weekends like this to look forward to, but it'll be exciting.
What a great lady. She's been around all the time Peter's been racing. She's been nice to everybody. She cooks meals, mother hens, crew members. What a great individual.
And Peter is rumored to be looking at buying a boat, so a little bit of change of horsepower.
Well, you know, we always call him Mr. Horsepower, and boats can be pretty fast, you know.
Well, you saw a glimpse there, the 22 of Scott Steckley, who's moved from 12th where he started all the way up inside the top 5. He's currently running in the 4th position. You can see where your favorite driver is running with a ticker at the top of your screen as we ride on board with Todd Nickel.
Todd Nickel having a great outing. His first time here in Nova Scotia. He just staying out of the trouble with leaders and logging some laps.
Just learning a little bit here as the 2 Fitzpatrick Motorsports teammates lead, and now John Gahn underneath the 98 on Donald Chisholm for 14th position. So Johnny's been working on that spot for quite a while, and Peter Shepard just in behind this battle too in the Ubisoft Walmart number 7.
Oh, the action's picking up front. Teammates, you think there's any team orders and somebody didn't pass them on. These guys are going at it for the win.
Wonderful speed shot there as DJ Kennington jumps to the high side of the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. It's John Fitzpatrick, Ted McAllister looking on. We'll be back. Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. J.R. Fitzpatrick leads as Scott Steckley in the number 22 tow truck in a box Dodge challenges Peter Gibbons for fourth here on lap 72 of the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300.
It's great to see Peter. He's right in the mix here tonight. He's a tough competitor, and knowing he's only got 2 races left to get that first win. Oh, Derek Lynch, the 77 Allied Steel Buildings car, is off the pace.
The Dodge Avenger of Derek Lynch is off the pace. He's now a lap down as the leaders go by. You can see Don Thompson Jr. in the Hope Hardware Chevy Monte Carlo pressuring his teammate, the 84 of young J.R. Fitzpatrick.
They better look over their shoulder. Here comes the big green machine, DJ Candian, the Castro Dodge. He's hungry for a win as well. He's still got a shot at this championship.
And it looks like the 77 of Lynch trying to sort out his problems on his own. Not going down into the pits just yet. He's sitting in 18th spot. Gene Depot and the crew look on, report something wrong with the motor.
Well, he's down the bottom going into turn 3. That's the entrance to the pit, so Lynch will be going pit side.
84 J.R. Fitzpatrick leads. The news out of the Fitzpatrick camp earlier on. Apparently he's got that truck deal for Martinsville after a pretty successful test.
Well, hey, he's got a fan in this camp. Young Fitzpatrick will do a real good job. Just keep the nose clean of that truck and maybe get a few more shots at it.
The TRG Motorsports in a change for the lead here with a 4 of Don Thompson Jr. ducking underneath his teammate. Looks like J.R. Fitzpatrick. I thought, you know what? Thompson might be a little bit quicker than me at this point, and so he jumped up a groove and let the 4 car go underneath. And Tom's on pit lane.
Derek Lynch, the number 77 Allied Steel Buildings Dodge along pit road. He said the oil temperature spiked way up, guys. The crew's going to go underneath and have a look. He may be done, but they're not positive. They're going to try to cool that car off. They got water going to the radiator now, so that red light is on, and that temperature is way up.
Well, that's not a good sign. You know, we got gauges, and then we got an indicator light that set at X number of degrees, probably 250 on the oil, and it's when the light's on, it's not good news.
You can see Jason Hathaway fighting on the inside. He's already a lap down. The 10 of Doug Brown just ahead of the leaders, though, is the 98 of Donald Chisholm. They're trying to fight to stay on the lead lap.
Oh, the 10 gets turned around by the 98. Oh, Don Thompson gets into him.
And the 98 of Chisholm goes around. Caution is out. You can see the pileup of cars down at the exit of corner number 4. And it looks like everybody will get moving with minimal damage.
Well, you had the 10 and the 98 racing, trying to stay in the lead lap. Don Thompson Jr., he ends up in the mix by no doing of his own. See, 98 into the 10. Donnie Thompson's got no place to go. He gets in the back of the 98, gets clipped. And it just happens so fast in front of the leader.
The 7 of Pete Shepard on pit lane. So is the 10 of Doug Brown. The 19 of Brad Graham. And the 12, you saw John Gunn also go by.
There's the full throttle. Oh, he's trapped in his pit. Graham had to back up before he could go out.
And 12 of John Gunn blocking him in just a little bit, but the leader is still the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. You can see that hood crumpled a little bit after getting into the back of the 98 of Donald Chisholm. Restart here on lap number 95 as the Dodge Caliber SRT4 pace car pulls off. Green flag back in the air, and we're back underway.
Oh, and JR just trounces him up through the gearbox into turn 1. He's got half a car length. Peter Gibbons is going to go with him. He's trying to get in there.
But Thompson's going to jump up to that preferred lane and block the run by Peter Gibbons in the Canadian Tire number 1.
See, on cold tires, they can go 2, maybe 3 laps and really lean on that right front. And whoever gets the spot first will probably get to keep it.
On board with DJ Kennington in the Castrol Syntec number 17, battling side by side with the 1 Canadian Tire Chevy Monte Carlo, Peter Gibbons. Those 2 in the front of the field. One driver who's out in the infield is the 77 of Derek Lynch, and Tom's with him.
Yeah, guys, Derek Lynch has already made the change in his street clothes. Derek, you tried to battle through it. What's the problem that put you out?
We ended up blowing a head gasket. Just lost all the water in the motor and it's starting to run hot, so kind of ended our night.
Tough luck. We'll see you next week.
And Derek Lynch going to change hats this week as well to the promoter hat, of course. The NASCAR Canadian Tire Series finishing up their schedule at Kawartha Speedway, where Derek Lynch is the promoter.
Yeah, him and his wife Kate do a wonderful job up there. Horses will, oh, DJ Kennington hard in the fence.
A big one for the Castrol Syntec, number 17 of DJ Kennington, hard up into the wall.
Well, I'm just trying to get a look here. DJ doesn't look like he's moving around all that much inside the race car. By now, he should get his breath back under him and get him to there. His hands coming up to the window net. Good. DJ Candian hard at the outside wall. Something had to look at that. Sparks, something broke in the right front. That race car went in. Didn't even slow down.
So the best news, DJ Candian is out and walking around checking over the damage of that Dodge Avenger. But it's pit stop time.
Scott Steckley, the 22 car, first of the leaders to make their pit stops. It'll be left side tires, a bit of an adjustment and some fuel as well. Everybody on their way.
Wow, a little confusion on pit road. We got one backing up to get around, and the other one drove in. The 27, no harm, no foul. The action's getting hot. Don't go away. We'll be back with more.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series as we're working lap 114 of the Atlantic Dodge Steelers 300. J.R. Fitzpatrick has the lead. Green flag flies, but what a jump for the 84 over his teammate.
Well, Dave, we're going to have a look at this because NASCAR all year has been giving drivers penalties for jumping restarts. They got a cone on the fence that actually indicates where they can start the restart. And looks like he got on the gas just a little bit too early.
And one of those drivers who was penalized, the Ford Don Johnson Jr. earlier this season. Now J.R. Fitzpatrick being shown the black flag. He's coming down to the inside, so he'll have to serve that drive-through penalty.
What a smart move. Get down pit road in a hurry. They're leading the race. They can come down pit road. It's a drive-through. Probably go down one lap because they're so fast here, but then you'll be able to get the free pass on the next caution.
Being careful not to speed down pit lane, but we'll take another look at this restart.
There it is, hard on the gas, very close, but he was just a little bit quicker. Let's look here, see the pylon? He's about a car length too fast on the restart.
So J.R. Fitzpatrick does indeed go a lap down. He rejoins the race in 12th position, but mired deep in the field, a brand new leader, and it's the number 1 Canadian Tire Chevy, Peter Gibbons. Gibbons in front of the number 4 of Don Thompson Jr. You can see this battle a little bit deeper in the field. This is for 7th position with Lapsevich, the 27 of Ranger, and the 95 of Anthony Simoni.
Well, Simoni, he cut his teeth at Flamborough Speedway, a little flat racetrack. These high banks, he must be just loving this.
The Crown Modular number 95 in the Rookie of the Year contention as we ride on board with J.R. Fitzpatrick. Sitting in the 12th spot, the battle in front of him is for 9th. Of course, J.R. is a lap down. Scott Steckley, the tow truck in a box number 22, moving into the top 10 underneath the 95 of Simoni. And Simoni battling with the 21 of Jason White for Rookie of the Year honors. Pretty sore DJ Kennington is out of the race and staying by the infield.
DJ, that was a hard hit. First of all, are you all right? And what happened if you know?
Not sure yet. That car was rocking. Asphalt Dodge was really good, but looks like we broke the right front.
Wow, a dejected DJ. He had a shot at the championship, man, and he took a wild ride into the fence. And worst of all, now he's going to have to hustle that car home to get it repaired. And I heard he's the only truck driver we got 18 hours home after all this.
That's a long haul with pretty sore ribs as Dave Whitlock battles with the 19. That is for 5th, the full throttle energy drink. Dodge Avenger tags on to the back of the Dickies number 1, but there is your leader, the number 1. Peter Gibbons as he puts Brian Cathcart in the 71 lap down. Good to see Cathcart back in the series.
Oh, Brian Cathcart, what an ambassador for the sport. You see all these nice big haulers we got here? I'll bet you he has the tractor, which is the power unit underneath at least 5 of them. That's 5 transports that he powers up and down the road.
Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the Mopar Dodge. Just behind the number 9 of Mark Dilley. These two have been glued together all night long as they sit in 3rd and 4th. Dilley having another great run here at the Atlantic Dodge Steelers 300.
Andrew Ranger, the 27, he's having a good run. That Ford Fusion seems to get up off the corner real well. That's for 7th position.
Settling down here in the middle of the race as the drivers have found their groove. It seems that everybody just content to kind of hold their position, save their stuff for that last dash.
Well, they went at it pretty hot and heavy in the first few laps. That's just to get everybody going to where they want to be, settle into a position. The middle part of the race is just kind of figure out your race car. Some guys have already pitted, but there's still some pit strategy yet to play in.
When you talk strategy, is fuel going to come into play here very shortly?
Well, depending on your horsepower, theoretically you go the whole distance, but you want some fuel in the car for balance.
Well, Peter Gibbons, who was a rocket ship here last last year, but unfortunately came home short of the win. He's leading once again over very stout number 4 Home Hardware Chevy Monte Carlo of Don Johnson Jr. as they put the Holdex number 10 of Doug Brown down a lap. There's the 22 of Scott Steckley. Underneath the 98 of Donald Chisholm. And Steckley grew a little bit nervous coming into this one.
Well, when you're the points leader, you become the hunted. And I'd much rather be the hunter, but he's got a great point advantage, and he certainly doesn't want to hurt that race car. So when the homeboy and the 98 come by, just let him go.
And the 22 of Scott Steckley, though, not resting on his laurels. He's running for this one as we hit the cross flags. It's the halfway mark in the Home Hardware Midway update. We've had 3 leaders for 5 lead changes. 4 cautions has slowed the field for a total of 32 laps. And the fastest lap of the race put in by laps of it as we go down to Todd in the Gibbons pit.
Pretty familiar spot, fellas, to see that number 1 Canadian Tire car out in front of the field for those of us that have watched Peter Gibbons for many years. Remember, he qualified on the pole at this racetrack last year, ran some very fast laps before fading back a little bit. Out front of the field right now, only 2 races left, including this one. Yeah, he'd love to finish with a win.
And for all the years I've watched this man race, he's always raced just for the wins, and he does have the most wins at 27. Peter Gibbons continues to lead. Don't go away. We got more action.
Don Thompson Jr. in his black number 4 is just taking the lead from the number 1 of Peter Gibbons here at Riverside.
And just as he takes over the lead, he puts a lap on the 21 A&W Root Beer car all the way out of British Columbia.
Jason White battling for the Rookie of the Year honors here in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, keeping his nose clean here at Riverside. 131 laps to go now as 4th place on the line here between the 39 Nicky's Dodge of Dave Whitlock and the Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr. But Billy, we talked about it a little bit earlier on. You can't make this race on fuel.
Well, especially these big Dodges, you know, they make a lot of torque, a lot of horsepower, and that only comes from fuel. So the more horsepower you make, the more fuel you're going to need. And these guys, they're getting a little thirsty.
So some strategies likely being worked on in the pits, and wouldn't it be nice to have some fresh right-side tires heading into the stretch run here at the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300 as Beauchamp slides down into the 5th position. There is your leader, the Home Hardware Chevy of Don Thompson Jr.
I was watching those 3 Dodges go by. You got the 2 Whitlock cars, both of them, the front rotors, bright red, using up a lot of brakes. Ronnie Beauchamp Jr. coasted a little bit. None of the rotors were glowing.
You can see just ahead of John Gott, the 18 car, Candian smoking on the inside. We got trouble. The 95 of Anthony Simone is around, and the caution is out. Lapsovich also involved in the 25. This is up in quarter number 4. It looks like suspension damage on the Crown Modular number 95.
Yeah, you got to wonder if they got into a little bit of oil there when the 18 of Candian blew up. But the right front definitely has, we got a little bit of fire going in there. A little bit of brake action, probably some oil. Got caught up with the hot rotors and caught fire.
This comes as good news, though, for some of the leaders as they'll be able to come along pit lane and get that much-needed fuel and get those right-side tires here for the stretch run. And on pit lane is Don Thompson Jr., your leader.
Well, the crew comes over the wall and goes to work. First, they're going to put some bear bond on that hood to get it to stay down. They're putting fuel in this time around. Because of the travel distance out the East Coast, they're going to fuel the first time around, and then they're going to come back around and put tires on the second time.
A little trouble fueling the number 1 of Peter Gibbons. There's the 9 of Mark Dilley also down pit lane. And the Dodge Avenger, J.R. Fitzpatrick, getting his fuel this time by. Gibbons is gone, so is Hathaway. There's your points leader, the 22 of Scott Steckley. He's getting his right-side tires. So lots of action on pit lane. There's your new leader, John Gott, the 12. Welcome back to round number 12 of 13 in the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Sirius Satellite Radio. John Gott and his number 12 Centennial Chrysler Dodge leads the field as we work lap 186 of 300.
Oh, Andrew Ranger didn't get his tires cleaned off well enough, but he jumped on the throttle. That Fusion just went sideways as he jumped up through the gearbox.
The Walmart-tied Ford Fusion, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, still manages to hold on to second spot. Now he ducks in behind the 12 of Johnny Gott and goes to work on that Dodge.
Well, it's good to see Lapswich having such a great run. He's run just only a handful of races with us this year, and he's known as a real good road course racer. But I'll tell you, he's doing well here on the high base.
So the 12 team of Gott taking a little bit of a gamble here. They pitted 100 laps ago, so possibly Gott will need tires here very shortly. You may see that 12 car start to slide Ranger. So Steckley with some new Goodyears, and he's going to the front. Look at that move off the corner floor.
Oh, Ranger, he just not giving up that easy. He knows he's still got a mathematical shot at the points, and he wasn't real willing to give up the 22.
On board with Mark Gilly, who's in 5th spot, right behind the 25 of Lapsevich. Lapsevich continues to work underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger. A battle for the lead is forming. The 22 of Scott Steckley moves to the front underneath the 12 of John Gunn.
Well, Steckley with them fresh tires, and you know what? He's leading the points. He only needs a top 10 finish here to guarantee the championship. But the safest place to be right now is out front, away from all the traffic and trouble. So that's what Steckley's gone ahead and done. He's grabbed the lead, gonna put her on cruise control.
Not only that, but he collects 5 bonus points for leading a lap here in the Atlantic Dawn Steelers. 300 in front of a huge crowd here at Riverside International Speedway. Just a great crowd, and they're right on the edge of their seats watching this race.
It's a barn burner, man. The top 5 is right there. Everybody's having at it. You got Thompson, you got Dilly, you got Gunn, you got Rainer, and number 1, Peter Gibbons, sitting right there going, come on, fellas, I want a piece of the action.
Well, Gunn in that Centennial, number 12, starting to slide back as a little bit, as I mentioned. Old tires on board that Dodge Avenger, so they're hoping for a caution and try and keep that track position and get some fresh Goodyears underneath the Dodge Avenger.
Well, Mark Dilly looks like he's just a little bit faster than the 27, but he needs the same groove. And he gives him a little shot up off the corner. But the groove the 27 is in is the fast way around. We've been talking about it all race long.
Don Johnson Jr. in the Ford lurking there as well in the Home Hardware Chevy Monte Carlo. One of the drivers who's having his struggles continue today is the 95 of Anthony Simone. He is in the pits, and he's still contending for the Rookie of the Year honors. Don standing by.
Fellas, we got to give a lot of credit to this number 95 Anthony Simone team. Anthony's just going to rip the helmet off and talk to us for a second, but this team has been dealt a lot of tough luck all season long, but they broke the A-arm at the some contact here, and that's the reason that they're out. Anthony, you guys have had some tough luck all year long, but your team just keeps digging, and you're trying to get back out there and keep going.
Upper A-arm's broken on the right side. We're going to try and fix it and get back up.
Thanks, Anthony.
Wow, that's a hard-working crew, and as I said, you know, Flamborough Speedway is where he got his start on the ovals at least. That's a little flat racetrack up near Hamilton. This place is exciting. He wants to get back out there and have some more fun.
And he needs to get back out there to get the much-needed points in the Rookie of the Year title. Jason White is still out and circulating as John Gunn goes for a slide. But he hangs on to it. Chisholm picks up the position. Here comes Lapsevich in the Tim Hortons number 25. He'll also get a spot. This is now a battle for 10. Not too long ago, John Gunn was your leader.
Well, he's putting a race the right side tires right off the car. The thing's just pedaling backwards like no tomorrow. But they'll get a caution. They'll get tires on it and salvage a good finish. See, these guys are starting to get loose up off the corner.
But a 3-second lead now for Scott Steckley. The last time we checked NASCAR scoring. So Steckley is on cruise control out in front of the number 9 of Mark Gilly, who is chasing the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Ranger is sandwiched in between the two Dodges.
Well, what parity in NASCAR Canadian Tire Series racing. You got Chevrolets, Dodges, and Ford all running up front here tonight.
And the 21 car of Jason White, another rookie, is having some trouble. And we're hearing reports that he's got a valve spring issue as the crew goes to look underneath. And trouble for the 25 of Lapsevich.
Wow, it's the Knights in the right front. It looks like he might have gotten the fence a little bit. Now he's got either a ball joint or a control arm down. That thing's sparking heavily out of the right front. He'll need to come to pick her up.
Yeah, something is definitely let go on the 25 as the frame has dropped right down onto the speedway. Now Lapsevich makes it to pit lane. But you can see a brake fire now on the right front. And that wheel flopping around, something's not good.
Well, it looks like maybe the humps come apart. You get all the grease down in there in the hot roller, and it's caught fire for sure. They'll get the fire out, assess the damage, and either fix it or it's all of the night.
Little spark from the 22. Scott Steckley, the tow truck in a box Dodge Avenger, as he dips down into the corner. Now the 12 of John Gunn trying to hold on to the 4 car of Don Thompson Jr. as the 12 now a lap down.
3 wide up off of 4. The 4 gets into the 12. Into the fence he goes.
So heartbreak for John Gunn. The window net down very quickly. And we'll take another look at it.
Wow, it's like the spotter, something happened there. Those are 3 veterans coming down the front stretch, and there are 3 wide, and it looks like he got up high, and Don Thompson clipped him into the fence. spotter should have told him he was there. There was lots of racing room.
Gentlemen, John Gaunt obviously not too pleased. We'll be back with Steckley in the lead. It's a packed house here in Riverside to witness the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series experience. The Castrol points leader Scott Steckley leads the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300 as we get set for restart number 6 on lap 234.
And that time there, J.R. Fitzpatrick is now back on the lead lap, running in 9th position. I told you it wouldn't take him all night to get back in the top 10.
And you remember the last restart when Andrew Ranger spun the tires? He didn't do that this time. He noses into the lead down the front straightaway, so the Walmart time for Fusion to the top spot.
And Peter Gibbons right out that high groove, high, wide, and handsome. He's trying to get right up there. The 22 of Scott Steckley slid up in front of him, keeping Gibbons in third.
Just 64 laps left to be completed here in the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300. Steckley a little bit loose just in front of the number 9 of Mark Dilley.
That's Thompson and Graham. They're battling for 6th spot, Dave.
And I was just going to say, you can see that tape on the nose of the home hardware Chevy Monte Carlo of Don Johnson Jr. After that incident with John Gaunt on the front straightaway, did make a stop down pit lane, got the repairs done, and it doesn't look as though he's missed a beat, but the 12 car is out, and Todd standing by with the driver.
John Gaunt back after that hard hit. John, what happened out there from your seat?
Well, I guess Tony Thompson got up on the outside. I didn't know he was there. I guess he didn't give either, so we ended up with the red car. Car's a little tight. We were hoping for another pit stop, but we didn't get one now. I just want to say thanks for all the people at Centennial Plymouth Chrysler again for getting us here. Appreciate all that.
Thanks, John.
Well, you can see the disappointment in his face. You know, Johnny's a great driver, usually not much of a roughhouser himself, so when it gets done to him, he gets disappointed.
Billy, the 22, Scott Steckley is off the pace. He's pulled down to the inside of the racetrack. The tow truck in a watch. 22, Scott Steckley is now losing positions.
Wow, we just talked about him running safe and sound out front on cruise control. Now the thing is not quite sounding right when it's going by.
No, it sure doesn't. Steckley had a 123-point lead coming into this event. Something's going wrong, Tom.
Guys, we appear to be watching Scott Steckley lead the field for without much difficulty earlier. What happened to that car? It does not sound powerful going down the straightaways.
Something's amiss with the motor. We're not sure what it is right now. Not that many laps left. We'll see if we can ride it out.
Scott Steckley going to try to ride it out. That's why if you want that big point cushion, if you miss, if you have a problem, lose a few spots, it's not going to hurt you as bad.
Well, Greg Gibson, a very concerned crew chief right now, hoping his driver can baby that race car home and not get a DNF on the board.
Nearly 3 wide there as Peter Gibbons moves to the inside of the 9 car of Mark Dilley. And here comes the Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr. So Gibbons moves up into the 2nd position, still chasing the 27 of Andrew Ranger on board with Dilley who sits 3rd.
Hey, listen to Dilley. He's feathering that throttle real nice in the middle of the corner, staying nice and smooth, keeping the momentum up. But the right front's going pretty hard. Dilley using a lot of brakes here in Nova Scotia.
Dice for 4th there with the 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. and the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. Couple of drivers stand to gain a lot of points with the troubles to the 22 of Scott Steckley. Andrew Ranger is out in front. Don Thompson Jr. is having a pretty stout run here.
Well, he's out in, basically clear racetrack. The other 4 of the top 5, they're all dicing amongst themselves. If they keep doing that, that'll allow Ranger just to keep driving away.
And the caution flag flies for some debris down to the inside of the raceway. You can see it's to the inside of quarter number 1. So that big lead that Andrew Ranger had built up will evaporate.
All bets are off now because remember, we've been talking about the leader having trouble on restarts here in the fast lane. That'll put the number 1 of Peter Gibbons in that outside slot.
Steckley's down pit lane, Todd.
Scott Steckley, guys, just said on the radio the engine just came apart. The crew's going to have a look underneath the hood. You could hear something was wrong with that car as he drove by. They were going to try to ride it out, lose as few positions as possible, hoping to stay about 14th, where they had lost a couple of laps. But now that engine is off, team having a look at it, but his night may be done. We could have a huge impact on the points.
Now this doesn't look good as the Wheel and Engineering safety team getting a little TV time, cleaning up the debris. Andrew Ranger leads on lap 278. Andrew Ranger leads the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300 here in Riverside. Riverside, the 2007 champion, has 3 race wins. He's never earned a victory on an oval. He leads here at Riverside as the field works lap 283.
Peter Gibbons, an outside lane, didn't get the jump he was looking for. And Ranger run him out of room going into turn 1.
Just 16 laps to go this time by Ranger, with Peter Gibbons on his back bumper. Dilly and Thompson battling side by side.
That side-by-side action for third will allow Gibbons to go to work. Oh, Peter gets loose up off the corner. Thompson gives him a nudge.
A little help from Don Thompson Jr. to get him going again down the back straightaway as Peter Gibbons sets his sights once again on the Walmart time for fusion on Anchor Ranger.
And here's young J.R. Fitzpatrick. Now we got, whoa, Dilly loose up off the corner, right to 60 of Beauchamp.
J.R. Fitzpatrick using that high lane, battling with the number 9 Dodge of Mark Dilly's been right on board with the Dodge.
Well, those that remember the day, that's the high, wide, and handsome lane. Harry Gann used to call it that. High, wide, and handsome. Fitzpatrick trying to get back to the front.
But Andrew Ranger doing everything he needs to win his first ever oval race here in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, hitting his marks and outdistancing the Canadian Tire Chevy Monte Carlo of Peter Gibbons.
Whoa, around trouble. Graham in the 19. Traps the 39 of Whitlock there. That's not good. Nothing Dave Whitlock did. The 19 went around and just pinned him in there.
Take another look at it, and it was the 39 of Whitlock who got into the 19 of Brad Graham. Heads up move by the 19 of Graham, and the 22 is blown up. Scott Steckley is out of this race.
Wow, big points implications, but that's what we talked about. He was so hungry to keep the points lead. He's built himself a nice cushion. This ain't good.
Well, he's now in 13th position. Thompson and Ranger can really close the points gap as we take a look at the Mopar Fast 5. Beauchamp, Dilly, Whitlock, Graham, and Brown, they're all inside the top 10 with 6 laps to go here in the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300. The Dodge Caliber SRT4 pace car pulls off. It's Ranger and it's Gibbons as they head to the green flag.
Oh, again the 27 goes right up into Peter Gibbons, runs him out of room. Not a cool move.
Don Thompson Jr. will tuck in behind Gibbons, and Gibbons gets into the 27 Ranger. Ranger dirt tracking around corner number 4. He hangs on to it but loses a number of spots.
Peter Gibbons not putting up with the stuff on the 27. 2 restarts in a row. The 27 ran him on a racetrack. So Peter, give him a little bumper himself. Let's see what they do.
Gibbons, your new leader, looking for his first ever NASCAR Canadian Tire Series win. 3 laps to go now with Don Thompson Jr. on his back bumper. J.R. Fitzpatrick in there too. You remember the problems J.R. Fitzpatrick had earlier on this race. Taking a look underneath before Don Thompson Jr. The black flag out for the one of Peter Gibbons.
Wow, a little bit of rough out. The NASCAR Canadian Tire Series director has said Peter Gibbons got to serve a drive-through for bumping the 27.
And the 4 car of Don Thompson Jr. He's your new leader with the white flag out. 1 more lap to go. J.R. Fitzpatrick tucks in behind the 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. Rounding out the top 3, Fitzpatrick loses ground down the backstretch. Off of corner number 4, the win will go to the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. You can see the rest of the finishers coming through, and what a finish.
What a drive for J.R. Fitzpatrick, finishing second after being a lap down early on a drive-through. What a job he did here in Nova Scotia. We'll be back in victory lane after this.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series from Riverside Speedway. Todd Lewis in the winner's circle with Don Thompson Jr.
It took the full 300 laps to decide it, but Don Thompson Jr. fist pumping in the air as he climbs out of the Home Hardware Chevy to wave that checkered flag and celebrate the victory. Have a seat. Is that one of the most outrageous wins you've ever had?
Boy, I'll say, the Home Hardware Chevy was pretty good all day. Got in a little altercation with the 12 car, but pit crew did a great job, and the Home Hardware Chevy's out front. Just got to make mention that it was great running with Peter Gibbons. He did a heck of a job, and it's too bad what happened at the end.
Don Thompson Jr. with a big smile on his face, celebrating a win here at Riverside.
And overheating a little bit himself here on a chilly evening at Riverside Speedways. We'll take a look at the rest of the top 10 finishers here in the Atlantic Dodge Dealers 300. Mark Dilly coming home in 4th. Andrew Ranger will come home in the 6th position after leading with just so few laps left. And John standing by with your 2nd place finisher.
J.R. Fitzpatrick with a strong run, a 1-2 Fitzpatrick Motorsports finish. I know you'd like the win, but second place is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering we were a lap down and probably 20th place or whatever, but it was a great run by the Fitzpatrick group. You know, the 4 and 84, we both ran very strong. A little too close, I think, and car-wise. You know, we were around each other all day. I don't know what happened on the restart. I went on the exact same spot I always was going, and I don't know. It's just something I'm going to have to ask NASCAR about, because I believe if we didn't have that penalty, the 84 would have been really trooping. But hats off to the home hardware team, and we're just going to have to go get them again.
J.R. Fitzpatrick, second place finish here at Riverside.
Castrol point standings, a little bit of a shake-up with Don Thompson Jr. closing that gap to Scott Steckley. Now only 67 points. Andrew Ranger within 100 points as well. TJ Kennington falls to fourth place in the Castrol point standings with that incident earlier on in this race.
Well, that's David McDonald handing out the third place trophy to Mopar's Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Big thank you to Paul McLean and John Chisholm and everybody here at Riverside. What a fantastic event. The Atlantic Don Steelers 300 has been brought to you by Castrol. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering. By Dodge. Grab life by the horns. And by Allied Steel Buildings, the leading, most trusted brand of steel building.
Well, there's the top 3 tonight. What an awesome race here at Riverside.
And one more race to decide a champion of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. It'll be from Kawartha Speedway. From all of us here at James Robinson Associates, we'll see you there.